Panaji of Berkeley Center is there with us. So is Devashish Dash and his parents. This lake is a popular site for skiing during the winter seasons. We had put up at a lodge and are now in the boat. This is a 2 hours ride to see us different places around the world. দেবাশিসের মা বাবাও সঙ্গে আছেন. It has been a pleasure to go along with them. From the steamer, we can see the Sierra Nevada mountain range and its snow-capped peaks. This lake, Lake Tahoe, is one of the biggest alpine lakes located between mountains. It supplies water to the Nevada and the state of California. You can also see the American flag fluttering from the vessel, and with a large number of people assembled on the deck, enjoying the sunshine, the pleasant weather. The snake-capped peaks are there all around.
এই এমারেল্ড বে পয়েন্ট পৃথিবীতে নাকি সবচেয়ে বেশি ছবি তোলা এটাতেই হয়েছে। নীল জল লেকের, সবুজ বনানী পাহাড়ের, আবার তার উপরে বরফের কুচি। চতুর্দিকের দৃশ্য এত সুন্দর যে টুরিস্টের ভিড় লেগেই থাকে। আজকে আমরা লঞ্চে করে গিয়েছিলাম দেখতে। শশার জন্মদিনে আজকে এই ছোট ভিডিওটি নিবেদন করলাম।
Setting up camp at the construction site. The stones used in the castle were carved from the canyon and back to the house. Other building materials were brought in by Eric from South Carolina. It was hard work and long hours. Finally, August 1829.
It's too cold.
So Mrs. Knight had craftsmen working from photographs and sketches duplicate the articles she wanted. Their work was so skillful that collectors today have difficulty in distinguishing them from the originals. This 34-room summer cottage is U-shaped with 2 wings going up.
We are so close to snow-capped peaks. These mountains of the Sierra Nevada range are 8,000, 9,000 feet high. There is a trekking route during the winter season. It's popular skiing above. At that time you have more snow and ice, but during this time of the year there is less of cold. You can see a merry crowd on the lake, in the steamer, enjoying the sunshine, enjoying a bright day out there in California. This lake is located at the juncture of the California and Nevada states, and this freshwater lake supplies water to both these states, a goodly amount to the water-starved California state.
Maintained at an average of approximately 6,220 feet, and so we have a spectacular 3,000-foot granite backdrop to this alpine bay. As those peaks rise above us, so does the bottom of the lake rise beneath us. As we enter the bay, looking over the side, you'll notice a change in color of the water as we leave the indigo blue of the over 1,000-foot depths and enter the light green waters of the bay's entrance, where for a few moments we will have only 4 or 5 feet of water under our keel. Emerald Bay and the valley ahead and above between the 2 peaks are classic examples of glacial movement, being distinctly U-shaped rather than the V-shaped valleys made by erosion. Glaciers came down through here, gouging and scraping off the sides of mountains and digging out the bay. On the mountainsides ahead, you'll notice lateral scars, gigantic scratches made by massive boulders locked in the ice as it inched its way towards the lake. And that almost shiny appearance on the rock face was also caused by the ice. It's called glacial polish. Looking over on the left, the ridge of land that starts at Eagle Point and rises to meet the mountains is known as a moraine. A glacial moraine is formed by debris, rock, mud, and boulders that the glacier picks up.
We have come from Berkeley and are due to go to Sacramento today, later in the day. Thank you. We are in Camp Taylor. This is a state-maintained park just by the side of a creek. With me is Swami Prasannatmananda of Berkeley Center and Swami Vedananda of San Francisco Center. Swami Prasannatmananda ji আমাদের কাছে he is describing about this park Swamiji's ব্যাপারে বলছেন. Yes, Prasannatmananda. বলো.
Oh, so actually this is the Camp Taylor Park, and Swami Vivekananda, when he visited United States, he in the second time in 1900 he came here and he camped here for 14 days. There was many important events
You can show the places.
during the Swamiji's staying here, and here this spot was Swamiji's tent where Swamiji used to stay for 14 days.
Bah.
And here the next tent was the kitchen tent
Acha.
where Swami Vivekananda and other devotees they cooked their food. The opposite side, just at the
Opposite side of the road, right?
opposite side of the creek,
At the base of the
at the
hill.
base of the some hillock,
Right.
there were 3 tents where the women devotees they used to stay. Swamiji had to go to their tent for breakfast.
Acha.
So 3 main important incident happened here. The first was Swamiji took bath in this creek,
Right.
and Swamiji used to call it Ganga. Swamiji performed Homa here, and he sprinkled the water, said that this is a Ganga water, everyone would be purified.
Bah.
And then he was very sick here,
Acha.
and he thought that he would have left the body.
Bah.
So he did a will here
Oh.
and transferred all the property of Belur Math, because at that time Belur Math property was bought. So he transferred the Belur Math property to his brother disciples.
Bah. Important.
Then he said one day that come, let us meditate. And he said, please tell me on which object you would like to meditate. Everyone was stopped, everyone was did not tell anything. But Swamiji said, okay, I shall meditate on the heart of lion, because I feel encouraged and I get courage by meditating on lion's heart. So these few things were there. He stayed here for 14 days, and it was a very sacred and
Yes.
holy place, and still the vibration, if one come with the meditative mind and with the serene mind, they can easily feel the vibration
Wow.
that was generated by Swamiji here.
Maharaj, will you kindly tell me about the trees? You say these are the redwood trees, and who are the persons who came along with him? Swami Vedananda ji.
Persons who came, well, one of them was
Alice.
Mrs. Alice Hansbrough. She was had been his host in Southern California.
Yes, yes. One of the Mead sisters, right?
One of the 3 sisters
Right, right.
of his family in South Pasadena.
And you also
Eventually
see the
their
trees.
house was given to the
Yes, yes.
Swami Prabhavananda.
Right.
Anyway, she accompanied Swamiji here, and they came by train, and the train came along. You can still see on that hillside.
Oh.
You can see the path where the train
Now you show
came.
the hill.
Acha?
This
Oh,
hill. This is the hill.
oh, acha.
And then they
The train line is still there, railroad?
The train line is not there, but the right of way is there. In other words, the ground is shaped the way it would be for a regular train track.
Right, right.
So
The
they
huge
came
trees
and
form the background, right?
Yes, yes. These trees were there. The trees are much older than
That's
than
fine actually.
redwood trees, right?
They're redwood trees.
How far would this area be from San Francisco?
This is approximately about 30 miles.
Right, right.
And Olima, one reason that the Vedanta Society under Swami Ashokananda in 1946 bought the property in Olima was because it was so close to this holy place.
Well, right,
Yes,
right.
a knower of God of Swamiji's stature spent more than 2 weeks.
Right, right.
So every May 2nd of every year we try to come here and spend just a few minutes in
Right.
remembering the great things that happened here.
So this Olema property is also a substantially large property of the San Francisco Vedanta Society. That is the Vedanta Society of Northern California. Maharaj, was it, you said, more than 2,000 acres?
Yes, yes.
So it's a substantially large property, plenty of vegetation and...
Actually, the Swami Ashokananda wanted 20 acres.
Acha.
And he sent the secretary of the society, Mrs. Soule, into the house of the owners of this ranch, which became the Vedanta retreat.
Acha.
And he asked, she was supposed to ask them if they would sell 20 acres of their land.
Acha.
And they said, oh, we're happy to sell, but it's 2,000 acres or nothing.
Oh.
And so Swami had to go back to the Vedanta Society in San Francisco and tell them that this was a very remarkable property, very wonderful for the purposes intended,
Right, right.
but they had to buy 2,000 acres, and he recommended that this should be done, but wanted their opinion on it.
Acha. So this is a very valuable and well-known property of San Francisco that we have come to, just bordering. It is the Camp Taylor, where we are now located.
Which is actually 6 miles from our property.
A property at Olema. Right, right. So we have come. Swami Vedananda ji, Swami Prasanna Atmananda ji, me and Champak Sadhu. You have enjoyed the evening. You have seen now around the retreat. So thank you all for watching this video. We are with Pravrajika Vrajaprana ji of the Santa Barbara Convent. So I will request you, Mataji, to speak a few words about this monastery as well as the locality as well. It's a well-known locality.
So here we are in Santa Barbara. We're here on the mesa and we're overlooking the Pacific Ocean. It's quite beautiful. We've got some amazing birds around here, and we're fortunate we can live in a place that has both the ocean on one side and the mountains on the other. This place was founded by Swami Prabhavananda of the Vedanta Society of Southern California. They had a group of devotees here who were from the Hollywood area, and that Hollywood work started, the temple was actually founded there in 1930. But there had some devotees here, and at first the lectures used to be outside in good weather, and then when the weather was too hot or too cold, they would go inside in the living room and gather.
At Santa Barbara.
At Santa Barbara.
Right.
So enough devotees gathered, they wanted to raise money to build a temple. So the temple was built by the famous architect Luda Maria Riggs, who was one of the 2 first graduates in architecture in 1920.
The new temple that we saw there, right?
Yes.
Right.
So that was dedicated in 1956. Swami Madhavanandaji was here for that. Swami Nirvanananda, Suji Suji Maharaj was
Yes,
here for
Suji
that.
Maharaj, right.
So they were here for that, along with all the swamis in this country. It came for that inauguration. It was a beautiful occasion. So
Mataji, a few words about this locality as well.
this is the Mesa of Santa Barbara. It's kind of a flat area. It's right out here over the ocean. These are sort of smaller homes compared to other ones. Most of these houses were created after World War II for the returning army, for the GIs, for the people who had been in the service during the war. So they were low cost at that time. Now everything is high cost in Santa Barbara.
You mentioned a number of celebrities of this area.
In this area, not so many, but in Santa Barbara, we have, of course, Oprah, we have Ellen DeGeneres, we have Prince Harry and Meghan, we have, oh my God, Gwyneth Paltrow, we have, I just can't think of all the celebrities here, but I just seem to run into them. In fact, one just came to the bookstore whose name I can't remember. But a number of celebrities live here because it's only 90 minutes from Los Angeles.
That's right.
So it's easy for people to actually do their work in Los Angeles and then stay in Santa Barbara. We also have a lot of IT people here. In fact, we had a property line that we shared with Ellen DeGeneres, who was a very good neighbor. She sold it after the mudslides, and the man who is the CFO of Netflix, he now owns it.
Oh, that's
Right above our property is Julia Louise-Dreyfus, who is considered the most popular comedian since Lucille Ball. She lives right above us. Very, very nice person. Many movie stars, Carol Burnett lives here. Jonathan Winters did live here till he died. Many celebrities, but they like it because we give everybody their space. If we even recognize these people, we just don't make a big deal about it because we're not terribly impressed with celebrity. So they're allowed to. They like living like everybody else.
Right, having a little private space for them.
Having a lot of private space, and the worst thing is to intrude on people's privacy.
So Mataji was kind enough to drive the vehicle herself, and with us is Mr. Champok Shadhu from Houston, who has brought me in to visit this locality, as is Nalini of the monastery.
Brahmachari
Devi of this monastery. She also had guided us around the monastery when we were in. And Mataji just mentioned that this is a low tide time, so the ocean you can see all the more better now.
And if
Yes,
you
you
look
want to
at
say
these,
something?
if you will look at those islands out there, these are part of the national park system, and they are very rare. They're considered like Galapagos Islands #2 because they're so isolated. There's species of birds and mammals that live there and nowhere else on the planet.
That's popular.
So there are island foxes, there are island pigs, there's islands that live only there.
Oh, so you don't have human beings only, right?
People can go in for one day and they have to, or they can camp, but everything goes in, has to go out. No permanent housing there.
So Mataji, you have the oil rigs afar, right? That was something amazing.
Yes, they were put in many years ago when President Reagan was here. And they are decommissioned because we've had one of the worst oil spill, I think, in history was here. And there was a project called GOO, Get Oil Out, where so millions of fish and sea mammals and birds were killed by all that oil, and it took weeks for it to stop. And because of that, there was a movement to stop all the oil wells. So these are decommissioned, but now the problem is a whole area. A whole ecosystem has developed around them.
Right.
And if we take out the oil derricks, you'll also take out the very rare species that have moved in there.
Right.
So they stay there, and they're lit up at night with lights, sort of like little Christmas trees.
Well, so certainly it was very considerate on the part of the administration and those people to think about the species there.
And if you look up, you see the cormorants up there. Those are big seabirds, and they go down and they pick up fish, and they fly straight horizontal, and then they go straight down into the ocean and grab a fish and come back up.
So as many of you watchers will be knowing, Mataji is a well-known author, and we are thankful that all the time to explain the locality as well as the background for the ashram. Thank you, Mataji. Right.
We are in South Pasadena, in the house where Swami Vivekananda had stayed for a while during his second visit to America. With us is Swami Sumana Sananji Maharaj, the assistant minister, and Swami Mahayogananda, as is Mr. Champak Sadhu of Houston. I will request Mahayogananda to say a few words about the significance of this house and Swamiji's association with this place. Mahayogananda, please.
We are sitting in the room in which Swami Vivekananda lived for nearly a month. And what you cannot see on the video is the experience of visiting a tirtha, a holy place, where a Mahapurush, a world teacher like Swami Vivekananda, actually stayed for four or five, we'll check the exact, about 4 weeks, I think, just over 4 weeks. In this room he lived, and in this house he lived, and he acted like an ordinary human being, almost. He would take his bath, he would eat, he would chant, he would sing, he would meditate, and he would go out to give talks and classes. And yet he was not, as we know, an ordinary being. And simply by sitting in this room, we can feel something, because we feel like we are tasting the fragrance that was left here by such a spiritual powerhouse.
125 years.
And this was 125 years ago that Swami Vivekananda came to California. And after staying in Los Angeles for some time, he came to South Pasadena. This place suited him very much.
Wow.
The house was crowded with people. The 3 sisters, then there were children, there was housekeepers, there was also one of the husbands, I believe. So it was a crowded house. Swamiji was given his own room, and they all shared one bathroom. How amazing!
That's it. Wow.
But
The bathroom on the second floor
which is
that
here,
we saw, right?
This same bathroom. And one of the sisters one day was walking down the steps following Swamiji, and she lost her balance a little. So she reached out to just steady herself, touching Swamiji's shoulder. Immediately, she felt that she was aware of an infinite reality. She felt like she was losing all sense of her own body, of the house, of time and space, and being drawn into an infinite experience of what she cannot explain. So she understood at that moment that Swami Vivekananda is not an ordinary person.
One thing, Mahayogananda, this room, as it stands today, appears to be somewhat small in size. Was it the same size
Yes.
as it was earlier?
They lived in the rooms. It's not like modern rooms. This was
Right.
125 years ago. Houses were
That's
small, rooms were small. The bathroom
Right.
has shrunk down.
Oh, that's
Has increased in size now.
Oh.
In those days, the bathroom was even smaller.
That's
And you'll see there's a stairway there leading up to the attic upstairs, where 2 people were staying upstairs.
Oh.
That is now accessed through the bathroom, but formerly it would have been accessed from the hallway. So they expanded the size of the bathroom at some point, a later owner.
That's it.
But
So, Sumana Sanji Maharaj, would you kindly come in with a few words about the significance of Swamiji's coming to Hollywood or to South Pasadena, because it has given birth to such a long-standing movement, so many people getting inspired, this movement gradually expanding.
Actually, Swamiji's second visit to the West, to America, is very important for this West Coast, because we have got our centers and devotees here. In the first visit, Swamiji concentrated in New York and in the East Coast, Boston, many East Coast, many places. Everywhere Swamiji visited and lectured. But second visit, when he did it in 1899, and he came and spent most of his time working here in this West Coast and getting the inspiration from Swamiji. This Vedanta movement has started, and the house we have our center at present in Hollywood. That also was donated by Sister Lolita, who was one of these three mid sisters.
Right, right.
In 1930, when Swami Prabhupada came, and he was invited, Swami, why don't you open one center here?
Right.
Swami Vivekananda, after doing his lecture and preaching here, he proceeded to San Francisco. So we have got San Francisco Center, Berkeley, Sacramento, San Jose, many places. And here also with the Hollywood, we have many satellite centers, sub-centers.
Right.
San Diego, Trabuco Monastery, Santa Barbara Convent.
What surprises
Hills.
us at Hollywood is, compared to the other centers that I personally had the opportunity to visit, here the number of local persons coming in, percentage wise, certainly is higher. This shows that Swamiji's footprints have been deeper in this place, or rather, the followers of Swami Vivekananda who came in later days were also deeply inspired and could carry on the inspiration to these local persons. So, Mahayogananda, could I kindly elaborate on Prabhavanandaji's contribution and his impact on the intellectuals of the place?
Swami Prabhupada was a disciple of Swami Brahmananda, and he had a magnetic personality and drew a number of prominent intellectuals into his inner circle. Aldous Huxley, Christopher Isherwood, Gerald Hurd, John Van Druten. These were all Englishmen, actually. They were expatriates from England, and he drew them into his circle, and they contributed tremendously to the work. They would sometimes speak from the platform in Hollywood.
Wow.
And were prolific authors. Aldous Huxley's The Perennial Philosophy was based on Vedanta, and Christopher Isherwood, in addition to his books he authored himself, Ramakrishna and his disciples, he also authored with Swami Prabhupada several books, including, perhaps most important, How to Know God, the Yoga Aphorisms of Patanjali, and the Bhagavad Gita translation. So these have had a lasting impact on American culture, and spirituality and religion.
We feel blessed to be in this room, and as the Swami said, this is indeed a place of pilgrimage where Swamiji stayed for approximately 5 weeks, and the amount of devotion that we see among the inmates here, among even the local devotees, it's amazing. Coming from such a distant land, and that too from a country which was under British rule, it was not independent at the time. The deep impact that carried the message of Vedanta far and wide in America. So thank you, and pranams to Swamiji.
Swami Vivekananda.
I have started, right. You can start now.
So, as you know, Swami Vivekananda stayed with the Mead sisters in South Pasadena, the three of them. One of those sisters, Carrie Mead Wyckoff, afterwards lived in this house. And she invited Swami Prabhupada to come down in 1929. So December 1929 he came, and they started doing classes in 1930, January, and decided to stay here and form a Vedanta society here. Now, Swami Paramananda was already working in Los Angeles, as it were. He's in La Crescenta, which is not quite Los Angeles. It's up in the hills, in the valley, a beautiful location. And so he apparently objected. He wrote to Belar Mutt that Prabhupada is coming here, but I'm already working here. And Mahapurush Maharaj apparently wrote back something to the effect that Paramananda does not have any exclusive right in Los Angeles, so thereby the door was opened.
That's it.
And so it started here, and the society was actually incorporated in 1934. Let's turn on the lights here. And this has been our so-called living room. Right now it's a little bit of a mess, but it used to be Swami Prabhupada would meet here, and there was a fireplace here.
Normally, what do we have now?
And now it's a closet, because why? In the earthquake in 1992, the chimney was damaged, and it was 1994, excuse me, the chimney was damaged. Now let's go here. This is clearly the original shrine of the Vedanta Society. Now it's these shelves with the cutout So that
That should be 1938, right?
no,
Still early.
this was in before that. In 1938, the temple was built,
Oh.
and the shrine was moved to the temple.
Acha, acha,
So
acha.
this was pre 1938.
Oh.
From probably 1930 to 1937, or 1938 before the temple opening. And
Prabhupada was a disciple of Swami Brahmanji, right?
yes,
Because we have his reminiscences.
right, Raja Maharaj, but he also knew many of the other Thakur's direct disciples and Holy Mother.
Right.
Interestingly, there's a photograph of Swami Paramananda here.
Oh, acha, acha, acha.
Even though they
Differ from each other.
Prabhupananji and Paramananji actually were not on the best of terms.
The softer way of putting things, right?
Yeah, so whatever it may be.
We are at the Lake View campus of Swami Yogananda ji of the self-realization fame. It's a wonderful campus with the lake. So this campus is known as the Lake View campus. Swami Sumanasanand ji, Assistant Minister of the Hollywood Vedanta Center, commonly known as the Vedanta Center of Southern California, is there with us to accompany us during this tour. So this wonderful campus, in a sense, overlooks the Pacific. The Pacific Ocean is just this chapel is located in the lakefront. You can see the lotuses, the design of the gate. There are wonderful shrubs all around. The Pacific Ocean is just a stone's throw from here. You have to drive about 1 hour from Hollywood to reach this place. This was purchased by Swami Yogananda. He passed away in 1952. Before this campus was inaugurated. আজকে এখানে এসেছি নাসাতে, হিউস্টনে। আমার সঙ্গে ডক্টর অমিতাভ চ্যাটার্জি আছে। অমিতাভ আর আমি একসঙ্গে পড়াশোনা করেছিলাম ক্যালকাটা ইউনিভার্সিটিতে। ভালো লাগলো এখানে দেখা হয়ে। সে নিয়ে এসেছে নাসাতে, রকেট পার্কে এখন আছি। তো অমিতাভ সংক্ষেপে বর্ণনা দিচ্ছে। আর এই জায়গাটা খুব উল্লেখযোগ্য জায়গা, অনেকগুলো রকেট আমরা দেখতে পেলাম, সেটা সম্পর্কে বর্ণনা দিচ্ছে আর ছবি তুলছে অমিতাভ।
এটা রকেট পার্কের প্রথম রকেট যেগুলো দেখতে পাওয়া যাচ্ছে, প্রথম রকেট যে দুটো দেখতে পাওয়া যাচ্ছে এই দুটো ছিল ট্রায়াল রকেট, যেটাতে করে হচ্ছে যে প্রথম অ্যাস্ট্রোনট যেমন অ্যালান শেপার্ড তাদেরকে 1961-এ স্পেসে পাঠানো হয়েছিল। যে সেইটা হচ্ছে আমেরিকার প্রথম মানে বিজয় বলা যেতে পারে, যে প্রথম মানুষ হিসেবে সে হচ্ছে অরবিটে গেছিল। আমার সামনে তো এগুলি দেখা যাচ্ছে, আর মহারাজজি তো এখানে দাঁড়িয়ে আছেন, উনিও আর কি এর ব্যাকগ্রাউন্ড। নাসার হিস্ট্রি হচ্ছে যে এটি তৈরি হয়েছিল লিন্ডন জনসন যখন আমেরিকার প্রেসিডেন্ট ছিলেন সেই সময়। যেহেতু উনি টেক্সাস থেকে, সেই জন্য উনি ইনসিস্ট করেছিলেন যে নাসা স্পেস সেন্টার যেন হিউস্টনে হয়। সেই হচ্ছে যে নাসার উৎপত্তি হিউস্টনে, এবং বহু বছর ধরে মিশন কন্ট্রোল সেন্টার ছিল হিউস্টনে, যার জন্য যত স্পেস রকেট ছাড়া হয়েছিল, ইভেন যখন হচ্ছে যে স্পেস শাটলগুলো ছাড়া হতো তাদের মিশন কন্ট্রোল করা হতো হিউস্টন থেকে। বিশেষ করে জেমিনাই প্রোগ্রাম, অ্যাপোলো প্রোগ্রাম, এগুলো হিউস্টন থেকেই সমস্ত কন্ট্রোল করা হতো। আমরা অ্যাপোলো 11-এর মানে মডেলের জন্য যে স্যাটার্ন 5 রকেট যেটা আমরা দেখলাম ভেতরে, সেই হচ্ছে প্রথম রকেট যেটা স্পেসিফিক্যালি তৈরি করা হয়েছিল যাতে মানুষকে চাঁদে নিয়ে যাওয়া যায়। প্রথমে কয়েকটা ট্রায়াল রান দেওয়া হয়। অ্যাপোলো 11 যে মিশন ছিল, সেই মিশন হচ্ছে প্রথম যখন মানুষকে চাঁদে নামাতে সাহায্য করে। নীল আর্মস্ট্রং ছিলেন প্রথম ব্যক্তি যিনি চাঁদের মাটিতে পা দিয়েছিলেন ওই অ্যাপোলো 11 প্রোগ্রামের সঙ্গে। আর যে রকেটে করে অ্যাপোলো 11 স্পেস মডিউলকে চাঁদের কাছে নিয়ে গিয়েছিল সেইটার নাম হচ্ছে স্যাটার্ন 5 রকেট। সেটা হচ্ছে একটা ফুটবল ফিল্ডের সমান রকেট। তার হচ্ছে আমরা দেখলাম যে 4টে স্টেজ আছে। পৃথিবীর মধ্যাকর্ষণ ছাড়ানোর জন্য প্রথম স্টেজ সবচেয়ে বড়টা যেটা ব্যবহার করা হয়, হ্যাঁ, প্রথম স্টেজ 1। স্টেজ 2 হচ্ছে যে পৃথিবীর গ্র্যাভিটি ছাড়িয়ে চাঁদের গ্র্যাভিটি অবধি টেনে নিয়ে যায়, তারপরে সেটি খসে পড়ল। স্টেজ 3 হচ্ছে যে চাঁদের গ্র্যাভিটির মধ্যে নিয়ে এসে সাহায্য করলো যাতে হচ্ছে যে অ্যাপোলো 11 চাঁদের চতুর্দিকে আর কি পাক খেতে থাকে। ফাইনালি যে মডিউল যেটা হচ্ছে অ্যাপোলো 11, যার নাম স্যাটার্ন 5-এর মাথায় বসানো, সেইটা চাঁদে নেমে মানুষকে চাঁদের মাটিতে পা দিতে সাহায্য করেছে।
এই পাশেই যে বিরাট বাড়িটা আছে রকেট পার্ক, ওর মধ্যেই আমরা সবকটা দেখলাম, অমিতাভবাবু যেটা বললেন।
হ্যাঁ, এবং তার স্বামীজি ছবিও তুলেছেন অনেকগুলি, সেগুলো দেখতে পাওয়া যাবে।
থ্যাংক ইউ।
Understand that everything is connected. What is happening in the ocean over here can affect what is happening on land over here. It's just all one being, thing, and it's all interconnected.
You can see combat. We were two countries were at war. You can very easily see missiles being shot. They just look like little tiny traces of light. You can see all that stuff. So to me, I didn't see one unified human civilization. You certainly see one unified planet cruising around the sun, and that is a unique perspective.
During my time in the space station, I had the chance to do a spacewalk, put on a spacesuit and go outside. And that's a very special experience for any astronaut.
You're inside the space station shuttle, and now you put on a suit and go outside. It's like there is an elevation and risk when you do that, but it is a bit thrilling. Spacewalks always seem to be very busy and task-focused events where I gotta do this and I gotta move over here and do this, and then you just have to not think about where you are. Just concentrate on getting the job done. What's the big picture?
Rarely did you have a minute where you could just say, just take a minute and.
So just mentally, psychologically realizing that there's nothing between the vacuum of space except for this spacesuit and your visor.
I remember thinking that coming out, like that the world would just open up around you. And the view for some reason seems bigger than what you have when you're looking through the windows of a spacecraft.
I mean, it wasn't like Earth is over there, it wasn't small.
All over, nonstop.
It's like watching neurons firing in our brain. These tentacles of light that are just connecting and traveling. Yeah, it might be starting over Florida, but it's like moving across the ocean to Africa as far as you can see. And that was, I remember floating there just thinking about, oh my gosh, everything is connected.
We got to see some interesting things up there. One was Hurricane Dora.
The writing says, the moon's landscape is scarred by craters and covered with a layer of dust. There is no air, liquid water, or life. The gravity is 1/6 Earth's, so visitors can leap easily across the surface. The moon rotates much more slowly than Earth. It experiences nearly 14 continuous days of sunlight, followed by an equally long